day when Newcastle would have taken 1-0. Here they are, looking for number 5. With Philippe Albert. Oh! Absolutely glorious!
That was the unforgettable day where Newcastle crushed the life out of Manchester United 5-0. Stuffed, as the chairman Sir John Hall put it himself. It was Kevin Keegan's entertainers at their brilliant best. But any fans who thought it was a once-in-a-lifetime performance now have to think again, thanks to Bobby Robson and his rejuvenated side. The Magpies have made a positive start to the season, with an unbeaten Intertoto campaign continuing into the Premiership. A new attacking streak was emerging. £6 million summer signing Craig Bellamy was really starting to show what he was worth. £10 million Frenchman Laurent Robert was proving an instant hit with the fans. And who better to return from injury raring to go than the ultimate warrior himself, Captain Alan Shearer. So bring on the champions, stand by for a modern classic and watch the thrilling proof that lightning does strike twice. Newcastle United 4, Manchester United 3. Magnifique.
Well, let's go to the team news for you. Newcastle rested several players for their midweek League Cup tie. Amongst those back today, goalkeeper Shay Given and striker Craig Bellamy, who came on as a substitute against Brentford and hit a match-winning hat-trick in extra time. Laurent Blanc plays his second match for Manchester United. In midfield, there are the expected recalls for David Beckham and for Ryan Giggs. The players, staff and supporters of the two Uniteds united now in a minute's silence for those lost in the terrorist attacks on the United States of America.
It's also sadly claimed the lives of many British people. We ask you all now to please join us in observing a 1 minute silence as we pay our respects to the dead and their loved ones. This will begin with the sound of the referee's whistle.
Steve Bennett is the referee. Manchester United have not run away this season. They've drawn in the FA Barclaycard Premiership at Blackburn and at Aston Villa. And they did lose their last two away games last season. You have to go back to the end of April to find an away success for Manchester United, but it was up here in the northeast that day at Middlesbrough. Black armbands, the order of the day, black and white stripes, the colours for Newcastle United. Bobby Robson's 100th game in charge of the club that he used to follow as a boy. And here's Laurent Robert, one of Robson's signings. Might let in Shearer. Well, he couldn't have expected the chance to come that quickly. Newcastle down to business right from the kick-off. Phil Neville had the problem of balance, but Shearer wasn't quite balanced himself as he tried to convert the ball from Robert on the left. Bellamy chasing. Barthez right to the edge of the area and beyond. Lee. Robbie Elliott back at Newcastle this season after 4 years away from his hometown club with Bolton. Brown. Perron. Cushioned header from Davizas. Elliott's ball forward collected rather easily though for Manchester United by Veron initially. Veron again. And Nistelrooy trying to work off the shoulder of the last defender, but he strayed offside. Shearer. But leaning on Brown. So pleased to be back and trying to boost Newcastle even further from a little European run that they had. This is a run with the ball by Bellamy. Newcastle's season started back in July in the Intertoto Cup. They've already played 10 games and they're still unbeaten. 2 draws in the Premiership at Chelsea and here against Sunderland, and their first league win last Saturday, 4-1 at Middlesbrough. Blanc heads away. He's played here before for France in Euro 96. Being left to Elliott, but it's not a long one. Elliott can cross now. Blanc gets to it as he was fouled by Shearer. And he was definitely second on parade in that particular matchup. Fabien Barthez, I'm sure, will be pleased to have Laurent Blanc in front of him. So many times and so many big games for France. Partnership renewed. Lee can't keep it in. Alberto Solano has still been questioned over problems with his passport. It's his header. And this time it's Blanc on Shearer. Newcastle within range of the Manchester United goal because of a foul by the Frenchman. We've got 2 set-piece specialists now, Solano and Robert. It traditionally favours the left-footer, who is Laurent Robert. He takes it! Oh! Robert rams it past Barthez. Well, his impact here is immediate in this match, and it has been in his short time with Newcastle United. Well, Barthez might well have known what was coming from his fellow Frenchman, but he could do nothing at all to stop it. Bobby Robson, with all the years in management behind him, knows there's a long way to go. 85 minutes, in fact. But his 100th game as manager of the Magpies has got off to a spectacular start. Shearer beaten to it by Brown. Ryan Giggs. Perron. by Solano. Quick thinking by Manchester United at the free kick. Giggs too high for Van Nistelrooy. Newcastle were caught back on their heels. Keane. Probably so adept at breaking up their play from the opposition in that part of the pitch. It was rather presented to him possession by Keane that time. Didn't have to work too hard to get it. Robert trying to bend it for Bellamy. Barthez had the answer that time. Phil Neville to Veron. Back with Veron again. The younger Neville again. Andy Griffin, who's in the side, his dogged approach at right back, particularly with Giggs in mind, you feel. But Philip Neville was the wide man trying to take him on then. Griffin did his job. Keane. Beckham. Newcastle have hardly had a kick since they scored, and here's Giggs. Oh, so close to 1-1. It was Van Nistelrooy who was millimetres away from making it 1-1. Veron headed out by Shearer. Blanc. Bellamy. Robert. Beckham trying to get around him. It's unusual for Newcastle. They've had to come from behind in their 3 previous Premiership games. But the early lead is theirs today, but they're finding it hard to hold to it. Barthez. That could have broken anywhere. It's gone fortunately for Barthez to Veron, and on the transferred quickly to Van Nistelrooy. Giggs coming in, good drop on it by Shay Given. Well, it's an all-action start. And Given's touch really is making it difficult for Van Nistelrooy to convert the driven cross. Cole, Giggs, Keane trying to join in. Been 8 Premiership meetings here between the two clubs. Sir Alex Ferguson's side has won on 3 occasions. The last 2 through goals from Andy Cole. Prior to that, Cantona in '96 at the vital time of the season when Newcastle were Manchester United's closest challengers. Remember, they were runners-up twice. But the last 4 seasons, they finished in the lower half. Acuna. Griffin. Solano. Acuna closed down straight away, no real thoughts about shooting. Cross by Elliott, flag is up. Wouldn't have counted for Alberto Solano. Must have been a close call. The flag, as you might see at the top of your screen, does go up, but Solano in any case put it wide. Kept in by Van Nistelrooy. Plenty of support for Given as the ball dropped. Shearer. Got Acuna with him. Out by Brown. Conceded some early goals this season, Manchester United. And oh, Veron steps in. And Andrew O'Brien breathes a very hefty sigh of relief He was caught in possession. They're living dangerously, Newcastle, at the moment. Veron, having won the ball, couldn't complete the task. O'Brien playing today because Aaron Hughes is injured. And he was rather badly affected on Wednesday night in the match here by cramp in both calves. And anybody who's experienced that will know it doesn't go away straight after the game. There'll be some lingering tightness there. And he was certainly more static than he would have wanted to be, his teammates would have wanted to be, his manager would have wanted him to be when Veron caught him. Gary Neville. Oh, Van Nistelrooy couldn't take the ball with him. He might have been in had he done so. Solano. Bellamy goes to the right. Supported by Griffin. Solano. Bellamy and Griffin. Same triangle. Lee involved now. Work to Acuna. Robert nicely played through to Shearer's movement by Acuna. He looks for Bellamy. Brown gets a header away, but only to Elliott. Control possession from Newcastle. So the skipper can't quite slide it through with sufficient pace to Bellamy. Who just left a foot in late. Steve Bennett just prepared to give the free kick. A cautionary word for the young Welsh forward. He's come here after relegation with Coventry. Those 8 previous matches between these two clubs in the Premiership on this ground. There have been a couple of very impressive wins for Newcastle. Under Bobby Robson less than 2 years ago, 3-0. Shearer got 2 of those. Then you go back to the Kevin Keegan days and they beat Manchester United 5-0. Shearer also scored in that game. Bellamy. Acuna. Outlet for Elliott. Davizas. Solano calling for it and getting it. Making Veron chase him. Shearer. Key. He's trying to take it at pace. Cole trying to get it back to Ryan Giggs. There's an inventive idea, didn't quite come off. No shortage of inventive ideas from both sides so far. It's a compelling start to the game. As if obviously dare not look for a moment, but the game had stopped. Manchester United have certainly looked menacing since Newcastle have scored. You'd expect that. Shearer. Very good hold-up play. Didn't really want the ball back in there, nor did Acuna. Header by Elliott. Stooping header by Gary Neville. Might have got a boot in the face from Robert. Referee hasn't stopped the game. Robert sprinting away behind Neville, who was prostrate on the pitch for a couple of seconds, and realised that he needed to be back on the job. And Solano might have had an option outside him, but actually Bellamy, who was moving there, is in need of a bit of attention. There's a delay for the restarting of the game. Bellamy will have to go off to get some treatment. That's the point that referee Bennett's making. Paul Ferris is one of the physios here, and a former Newcastle player. Has that changed the plans for the manager? Didn't look too serious, but they've got back up forwards, two good ones, promising and youthful in Shola Amiobi and Trezor Lualua. There's a slip by Brown. Comes out to Robert. Now Lee. It was quite a heavy shower half an hour before the game got underway. Bellamy's back on. Newcastle have their full complement. And they have Acuna here. As Griffin tried to flick it through to him after Shearer had done some useful work wide on the far touchline. They're on. Cole was very conscious that Solano was coming in to make the challenge. Roy Keane concentrating first and foremost on getting to the ball, and it was nothing more than a clearance in the end. Keep an eye on the state of Bellamy's fitness. Very noticeable if he's not charging about. He's a very perky player. Shearer. Beckham and Brown. From Keane. Solano. Interception by Giggs. Cole. Made a big impact on this fixture for both clubs down the years. And there has been some recent talk, probably no more than gossip, that Newcastle might be trying to get him back again if he can't hold down a regular place in the Manchester United starting lineup. He's very keen to do that, of course. Giggs. Solid defensive header by Elliott. Collected by the other left-back, Philip Neville. Keeps letting it run. Beckham's ball. Tremendous closing down by David Beckham. He's covered some ground. He still hasn't got a challenge in, but the Manchester United trying to win it in Newcastle territory. They didn't do that, and they've left a little bit of space behind. Unfortunately for the home team, it wasn't quite the zip in the break they were looking to maintain, and it was very unfortunate for Robert. It's a really thoughtful header, hoping that Elliott had backed him up down the left-hand side. Robert in again. Beaten by the raised foot of Veron, and Gary Neville plays it back to Barthez. Flying start for Newcastle, a fabulous free kick from Laurent Robert. Almost 20 minutes gone. It's the only goal so far of an open game that promises, well, several more to come, you feel. Always a risky thing for a commentator to say that. Oof. That was the other leg from Elliott that brought Beckham down, and has got referee Bennett across. Not the left, but the right that he kept going with. It's the sliding nature of the challenge, as indicated by the referee, that leads to a yellow card for the Newcastle defender, and a free kick for Manchester United. Cole waiting. Beckham and Giggs over it. Giggs takes. Nice Brown in the thick of it. Andy Cole beaten by the fists of Given. Another slip. It was Veron over there. And that heavy shower half an hour before the kickoff, I'm sure responsible for slicking up the turf. Maybe one or two of the players weren't aware of how much rain did come down. Some footwear adjustments could be required. Robert. The bend not quite extravagant enough to baffle Barthez with the cross. Giggs. And all his efforts into keeping the ball in play. Elsewhere, Fulham 0, Arsenal 1. Freddie Ljungberg, early goal that I neglected to mention for you for Derby, home to Leicester, East Midlands match up there. Dion Burton, the scorer for Jim Smith's side. Solana. Shearer. Backpedaling is Philip Neville. Shearer looking for the angle for the cross, and he's found one. Comes to Robert. Neville jumping for this one and getting his head to it. Not quite what Robley intended, but he's got another contact. And Griffin helped out for Newcastle. The most authoritative header from Blanc. And like him, Acuna with Bellamy. Now Solano. Griffin on the overlap. Solano decides to use it. Paul waiting for the cross for Newcastle. Not too close to the goalkeeper, halfway through the first half. Giggs looking around complainingly, maybe at the referee, maybe at his teammates. And then Lee caught out by Beckham. Cole coming in. Beckham might go all the way here. He looks instead for a rolled cross. And there was very little barring his own passage to the Newcastle goal. Veron. Keane. Cole again. Veron. And Cole. Van Nistelrooy, Andy Cole trying to reach it. And some limpet-like marking there from Griffin. Again, very much his stock in trade. A variation on the corner from Manchester United this time. It's a variation that's caught out some of their own players. Veron couldn't find Giggs. And 4-1 Fulham and Everton. That's the two home wins for Manchester United this season. The draws at Aston Villa, they were very nearly beaten there. It was an injury time equaliser, an own goal that got them a point. They had their problems at Blackburn as well. They're having their problems here at St James's Park. Beckham. They've got fantastic resources to repair the early problems, though. A punch by Given comes to Veron. Zas in danger of dallying a bit. Now Robert. Zas keeping Newcastle in possession, though, to Acuna. And turn to Shearer. Robert, Shearer. Trying to get across in front of Brown. Hasn't quite got the weight to throw around, and referee Bennett tapping his shoulder suggests that that was the point of contact legally between Brown and Bellamy. Keane. Lee for Shearer. Very much on the same wavelength. Oh, very nearly through for Bellamy. Trying to play his way out of trouble. Yeah, that has always been a feature of his play, but he's going to be challenged on the ball, as all defenders are pretty much in the Premiership. And they try to move into midfield. Acuna. Just apologising to Robert for not giving him the ball. He'd taken up a good position. He took up another good one as well. But he was hustled out of it by Gary Neville. Veron. Adizas and Beckham will be facing each other in the World Cup qualifier next month at Manchester United, probably, given the good fitness for both of them. But the Greek came out on top against England's captain on this occasion. First of all with the ball, and then with the referee's decision, which is a free kick to Newcastle United against David Beckham. Beckham and all the Manchester United England internationals got a tremendous reception here at St James's Park only a week ago last Wednesday for the World Cup qualifier against Albania, which was won here. Play pulled back, that's what the adverse reaction is in some sections of the ground, where particularly behind Barthez' goal, the feeling was that Newcastle were able to keep going. They're certainly going here with Bellamy. Solano, it's a stray header from Gary Neville. Shearer back towards Solano again. Well, it certainly looked as though Solano was impeded as he went for the return pass. And this is Giggs, just when Newcastle were yelling for a decision right on the edge of the Manchester United penalty area, defending in their own area. Veron, Giggs. Cole. Van Nistelrooy, great turn, 1-1. Van Nistelrooy scored it. Cole made it. But it came pretty quickly after an incident in the other half of the pitch on the edge of Manchester United's own penalty area. They kept their concentration as the game was allowed to go on. And Van Nistelrooy showed what a fabulous finisher he is, and that he can work in tandem with Andrew Cole. Cole climbing. Still a lot of work for the Dutchman to do, a Dutchman who was nurtured at PSV by Bobby Robson. Bellamy. The referee had a look across at his assistant. It goes against Newcastle again. Cole. Giggs. Well, you can hear what the majority think about not just that last incident, but the one prior to the equaliser. Cumulative effect on the crowd. Shearer. Bellamy. No one else really getting forward for Newcastle yet, but Robert has arrived. Oh. He really let fly. But now through Shearer. Newcastle having a word with the referee, but Steve Bennett's got away from Alan Shearer and concentrating on the game going on, as Shearer has to do himself. Cole. Oh, and Veron got a bit too close to the Manchester United number 9. There's still a real air of injustice. This was the second incident. Philip Neville and Bellamy. After that, Robert never quite getting the range as he did with that fantastic free kick. O'Brien's header. Lee. One each between the Uniteds of Newcastle and Manchester. A third of what's developing into a terrific contest. Gone. Shearer. Just got too much on it. Van Nistelrooy anticipating the touch of Cole again. Keane, Giggs, and O'Brien sticking out a foot. Solano was a bit uncertain there, and he can't be uncertain against Manchester United, not in this part of the pitch. Just helped on its way by Given. It was an important touch. That's offside. Lee Mason, the assistant on this near touch line. Solano, who was grateful to his goalkeeper then. Cunha brings down Keane, and no complaints from Roy Keane, who you feel might just get disappointed if there isn't a physical edge to a midfield confrontation there. Certainly can more than hold his own in that area of the match. There was nothing sinister from Cunha, and he was good to see Keane acknowledge that, telling the referee he was ready to get up and get on with the game. And he's on the ball here again. Neville, Giggs. And the dummy was great. The return pass has led to a mini inquest between Giggs and Cole. Bellamy. Shearer through the centre, you'd expect that, but that's not always where he's been so far in this game. He's roamed and wandered and moved defenders around. Now he tries to turn past Brown. Lee gets within range. Oh, it's bounced through Barthez! A very rare goal these days for Rob Lee. Barthez has to take the blame. Over 3 years since Lee last struck in the Premiership. But he's picked a big day here with a hefty slice of culpability down to the man he beat. Newcastle back in front, and on the Manchester United bench, the frowns have returned. Well, he'll be 36 in February, Lee, but he's found a niche in the team that doesn't often see him cross the halfway line, playing in front of the back four, but he seized the moment then. Manchester United's frustrations shown by Beckham, but certainly the home support will feel there's a bit of justice about the scoreline in a couple of incidents that went for Manchester United, either side of their goal from Van Nistelrooy. And Barthez would want to get the game restarted and hope that the outfield players can make up for his mistake. Still 10 minutes to go to half-time. Solano got the ball, Philip Neville caught him. Well, it's a pretty straight shot, but it just dipped and maybe bounced in front of Bartes. Whatever the reason, it went through him. There weren't many times last season that he conceded 2 goals in a Premiership game, but it's happened at Blackburn and also here today at St James's Park, and here with plenty of time for more. Shearer, Solano. Well, there was a season back in the mid-90s when Robbie Elliott scored 7 Premiership goals for Newcastle United, primarily playing as a left-back. That's his position today, and he does like to make those late runs into the penalty area. He almost connected with the header. Griffin. Now Solano. Just at times Newcastle making look Manchester United a little bit unbalanced in midfield, dare I say such a thing. But there's so many players who want to go forward in that department for them, and Newcastle are finding space behind the Manchester United middle forward in front of the back line for Sir Alex Ferguson. Quickest reactions at a shortish corner from the champions. Only got a cross in. Robert retrieving. Attempt at the spectacular from Davizas. And the whistle's gone here. Keane seemed to be going for the ball. Whether it's been seen as a foul or a disturbing injury. No, he didn't quite get there, Roy Keane. Referee got it right. John Carver is sitting there with Bobby Robson, the Newcastle coaching staff. From pleasure to pain for Robert Lee. Really shaken up by that. So much so, Bobby Robson prepared to make a point to the assistant, Lee Mason. Lee getting attention off the pitch. 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go to half-time. Robert takes. Brown gets his head to it. Bellamy off in eager pursuit. Imagine what the cheers are for. If we look at Bellamy. Rob Lee's back on. They're on. Ryan Giggs starting deep, but with the great capacity to cut into Newcastle here. Van Nistelrooy! Well, he didn't connect cleanly, and Shay Given was able to make the save largely because of that wonderful run by Giggs. In the end, it was a pretty comfortable save by Given. Van Nistelrooy could have equalised for a second time. Beckham's corner. It's Baron who didn't hit it cleanly. Good South American challenge there between Acuna from Chile and Baron from Argentina. All part of the cosmopolitan world that is the FA Barclaycard Premiership. It's been called a free kick to Manchester United. Beckham's taken it. Oh, my goodness. Blanc made a run towards the near post. More as a distraction than anything else. The ball just kept on going. It could easily have gone in. Leicester have equalised at Derby through Dean Sturridge, whose goal was so vital last weekend to get Peter Taylor a point against Ipswich, and Middlesbrough have taken the lead against West Ham, the bottom club, with a goal from Brian Dean. Middlesbrough the bottom club, West Ham just outside the bottom three. Well, Beckham played the ball somewhere in the direction of the Newcastle thrower, Robbie Elliott. Slipped by Keane. Griffin. Elliott. Nistelrooy, work here for Dabizas for Newcastle. And Shay Given to switch it to his right foot quickly. Brown. Offside given. Two 2-0 to Middlesbrough now. Alan Johnston has scored. Acuna. Lee. Now Keane. First task for Newcastle here, you feel, to keep this lead intact until half-time. There's 2 minutes, and I would think maybe 2 minutes again to be added on. We shall see. Albert and Lee for Newcastle, and Nistelrooy for Manchester United. 2-1 to the Tyneside club. Oh, and Dabizas playing Manchester United almost en masse onside. They were on, but the best of balls to him from Keane. Solano, Shearer trying to stay onside, and not quite on the same line of thought. There's an Alberto Solano then, on the same line as the ball. Henry Neville. Bartes rather fired that at Blanc. It wasn't what he was trying to do. Blanc cushioned it admirably. Veron. Elliott, who lost his footing. But, Lee got back on the ball. Seems to be moving reasonably well for Newcastle. Shearer using all his experience against the Wes Brown to get in a position to take that on the chest. Solano. It was not the best flick at the end. There's going to be 3 extra minutes, in fact. We're into that period now. Cole, he was fouled or caught. He stayed down, not seen as a foul. And he falls back on his feet. Rob Lee on the ball. Acuna, Lee again. Shearer, strong with Gary Neville at his back. Looking for Bellamy, Bartes out very quickly, very bravely. And he He's used the ball very well also. Keane, Van Nistelrooy. I think trying to let the ball run rather than jump out of the way of a tackle. It's not in his nature to flinch. There's a Manchester United runner in behind him. Griffith. And Robert, who can play through the centre, off a striker. Paul Robson was talking about it before the game. He's wandered to the right at the moment. That goes O'Brien. Played more than 50 first-team games, Andy Griffin, but he's been hit by injury since moving here from Stoke City. Beckham. That on. Giggs. Nothing got in the way. Manchester United's throw. It's the last scheduled minute of the first half, taking into account time added on. Keane. Beckham. It was raised. Beckham was protesting. Steve Bennett letting the game go and let Robert go. Solano. He's got Bellamy to his right. Solano goes for goal, and Marquez this time very anxious to show that he got everything behind it. Well, to a worldwide television audience, 45 minutes of fantastic football to act on hopes as a tonic. But Rob Lee has left an imprint on the game with Newcastle's second goal. And Barton, who's versatile enough, he's usually the right back, of course. He's played in midfield before, and that's where he's been asked to start the second period. Manchester United start the second half. They, remember, didn't play in the Champions League on Wednesday. A match in Athens. They were there for it, but it was called off as UEFA cancelled fixtures on Wednesday and Thursday. They do play next Tuesday at home to Lille. Feeling in the Newcastle camp must have had Manchester United played in Greece, that some of the first choice players you're seeing today might not have been involved today. But Sir Alex Ferguson knows that there is room for improvement for Manchester United in the second half. Really compact in the way that they defend. They're certainly threatening when they get forward, and they've got they thought a free kick here, but I think the flag was up in the first place, and offside goes Newcastle's way. Brown. It did just bounce up before Bartes met it, but he followed through well, got plenty of power, plenty of height, but not a huge amount of distance. Griffith. Solano. Barton able to pick it up to link with Shearer, which he's done. And there's Philip Neville, who was the player who was involved in that incident with Craig Bellamy when Newcastle were yelling for a penalty. There is Bellamy with Philip Neville alongside him and challenging for the ball. It's a throw to Newcastle. Solano's taken up a clever position. Shearer, and he leaves it. And the shot was taken by Bellamy, who came onto the ball facing the goal. Sensible for Shearer to get out of the way, but look at Solano sneaking in there on the throw. Can't be offside, of course. Roy, judged to have fouled the Dabizas. Newcastle got lost since an away game at Liverpool at the start of May. This is the 13th match of a sequence since then. Defy the conventional rules of superstition. Bobby Robson was a bit concerned, chuckling about it, mentioning his 100th game as well. He'd love to beat Manchester United, whatever the occasion. And Newcastle lead 2-1. Solano's corner. Acuna. Back to Solano again. Brown. Oh, really? Fizz back by Robert. Almost without any apparent effort. Solano, curving ball, and Bartes hasn't got it cleanly at the first place. There was Dabizas who'd stayed forward, was up for the original corner. Beckham central at the moment. Trying to steer it through for Cole. Newcastle cut it out. Barton. Griffin. Shearer's straight offside. Only a fraction in it, but the flag was up. On the right side at the moment. Beckham to be maybe the orchestrator for the centre. Veron's come a bit infield, beaten to it by Barton. Robert. Oh, Acuna with lots of space. Shearer keeps it going right to Solano. Trying to pick out Acuna, couldn't do that. Beckham back now on that far touchline. Van Nistelrooy. Sorted out between Dabizas here and Elliott. Barton always turned into trouble, taken from him by Van Nistelrooy. Giggs coming from the left. Pass just forced him a little bit wide. Cunha beaten by the bounce. Veron. Beckham doesn't quite get to it. And it was Dabizas who saw to that. Bellamy. Shearer. And the Bellamy's just caught Wes Brown out slightly so that he could get the ball back. Corner. Great movement by Bellamy. Got a word in his ear from Philip Neville. But it's a corner nonetheless for Newcastle. The Premiership's all-time leading scorer, Alan Shearer, is one of those poised in black and white. Robert again. It's a goal! It's given, is it? Yes, it is. It's Dabizas. Robert had the shot from outside the penalty area. And the block came Dabizas's way. There were some questions being asked by Manchester United, but they didn't get the answers they wanted. It's 3-1. Seven minutes gone in in the second half. Still no perceptible change of emotion on the Newcastle bench. Davisas back doing what he's in the side for to win the headers defensively. Gary Neville. Perron. Beckham. And Gary Neville thinks it's a wrong call here, that it should be a corner. Beckham had to find himself at right back. Giggs. And O'Brien tight to Cole. Solana. Bellamy. Offside. An easy decision against Warren Barton. Sir Alex Ferguson's response is to be to get Paul Scholes warming up. Perron. Manchester United starting the day second in the table, with 8 points from their 4 games, 2 wins, 2 draws. Newcastle started the day 7th, with a game in hand on those teams above them. Cole. Giggs. Just overdid it, Ryan Giggs. Griffin. Actually, it's Given who takes responsibility for clearing long, and he's found Shearer. Bellamy just maybe in Shearer's mind a little bit flat-footed. If he'd really set off, they're anticipating that Shearer would make good contact. You never know. Newcastle might have been in again. Keane. Perron. Not happening for the champions at the moment. 10 minutes gone in the second half. They've gone further adrift since the interval already. Manchester United 3-1 down to Newcastle United. Fulham have equalised at Craven Cottage. They're at home to Arsenal, remember, through Stede Malbrook. Beckham. Now Giggs. Griffin and Keane. Roy Keane wins Manchester United a corner. A quick one is on if he wants to take it. But I think Roy Keane realises that maybe the percentages have to be played here at times, even if you are as good off the cuff as Manchester United are. Laurent Blanc has come forward towards the near post. Wes Brown round the back, who's still looking for his first senior goal. But he might have had it then, but for the reach of Shay Given. Gary Neville looking to get good purchase on the ball for a long throw. Newcastle lining up to deal with it. And they can push out now, where Barthez is. Davisas. Time for Solana. Not quite as much time as he took, but he was fouled by Perron. He wasn't quite happy with the positioning of Bellamy. Paul Scholes. Quite an option to have coming from the bench. Still plenty of positive vibes for Manchester United. But Shearer reacts to Barton's header. Bellamy, Shearer again. Ball won back by Philip Neville. Here's Keane. Giggs. Griffin twisting and turning, Bellamy likewise. Giggs still making good ground. Final ball they're lacking at the moment for Manchester United. But Cunha. It's a simple ball really for Bellamy, but it wasn't a completed pass. What Newcastle did well in the first half, after a spell of Manchester United control possession, really admirable attacking play that threatened to bring floods of goals really for the visiting team. Newcastle got to grips with it and got on the ball themselves and were able to have periods of possession. They need to regain that now, but they are 3-1 up. But here comes Paul Scholes. Well, on this ground of all grounds, Andy Cole won't like to be taken off relatively early in the game. 59th minute. But Scholes has been sent for. Neville. Gary, that is. Keane. Beckham. Giggs. Trying to involve Scholes for the first time.
52,056.
Veron. Tentative from Griffin. Gary Neville's covered a lot of ground. Beckham spotted him. And here's Scholes. Might bounce Van Nistelrooy's way. Barton. Keane got to it though. Warren Barton tries again. Bellamy. Pursued by Veron. He's lost him. Back for Griffin. Need to keep cool on the ball, Newcastle. Bellamy. Make sure if Blanc missed it, and there was a precious little chance of that. Attendance confirmed at 52,056. Enthralled by this contest between Newcastle United and Manchester United. Elliott, free kick. And Nistelrooy down. Almost on the spot where Robert gave Newcastle the lead from a free kick from just this position. The Manchester United left footer Ryan Giggs is nowhere near the proceedings. It's being left to David Beckham. You need a touch or two of magic now to Manchester United. One of the biggest cheers of the day. A clean catch by Shea Given. Beckham got plenty of the traditional whip and dip. Philip Neville. Scholes, Gary Neville again. He's made some excellent runs, and his cross reaches Ryan Giggs. Well, sweet as you like, especially if you follow Manchester United. They know they're back in it. Gary Neville very prominent. And Ryan Giggs, on his 450th Manchester United appearance, scores for the club for the 92nd time. And in this match, at a pretty crucial time, it's back to a one-goal advantage for Newcastle. They have 3, Manchester United have 2. Got on. Cross goes O'Brien. Shearer did well to reach it, and there is support. Manchester United a little slow to react. Robert, Bellamy. Shearer wasn't. The ball was guided off too. Beckham. Keane. Now Giggs. Giggs again. He's got 2 to his right. He's got Van Nistelrooy ahead of them. Oh, it's a wonderful strike. It's Veron, and Newcastle's 2-goal lead has been wiped out, really in a matter of moments. Two tremendous first-timers. First from Giggs, who was involved in the move this time for Juan Sebastian Veron. Found the bottom corner. Goodness me, where do we go from here? It's 3-3. Given wondering about a lack of protection in front of him, Bobby Robson, who's certainly never been celebrating really. Now he's maybe was then fearing the might of Manchester United, and he's had cause, if that was the case, to fear Manchester United. Now, well, a complete comeback is very much on the cards for them. Giggs! It could have happened then. More electrifying passing. So wide that one wondered initially whether Ryan Giggs himself did get the final touch, but goal kick has been given. Shearer. Elliott. Shearer. And Acuna being called back by referee Bennett. A yellow card for the Chilean. Joining Robbie Elliott, who was booked in the first half. It was a deliberate handball when he was on the ground by Clarence Acuna. Giggs. Veron backing up the goal that he scored at Old Trafford last week against Everton, but he's lost the ball here. Acuna, Shearer. Marquez is the boss this time. Veron. Keane. Veron again, he's got behind Acuna. Scholes, Beckham on the right. Van Nistelrooy. Elliott gets a foot in. And with the inspiration of Robert de Newcastle, the steal of Shearer. Of course, they've lost Rob Lee at half-time, and in the final analysis, that might be one of the turning points in the game. Of course, they did score first in the second half. We shouldn't forget that, to go 3-1 up. Van Nistelrooy from Beckham's pass. And just stopped. Almost in the act of scoring by Dabizas. Very important piece of defending for Newcastle United, but Manchester United have a corner. Just past the halfway mark in the second half. And it's been a spell where they've wasted precious little, the champions. They've reacted like champions to adversity, but that corner curled too long by Beckham. It was enough to bring the manager down to the touchline, to the technical area, from his seat in the dugout. Veron. Keane. Well, this is turning out to be a real classic in the FA Barclaycard Premiership. 3-3. Shearer. Solano trying to take it from him. Couldn't get away. Giggs. Keane. Scholes lets it run. Van Nistelrooy, the goalkeeper, comes and just couldn't turn quite sharply enough for Van Nistelrooy. He did, of course, when he scored his goal in the first half. Veron. Doesn't quite drop over Elliott, but good anticipation by Beckham, who realised that Robbie Elliott was struggling to get his head to the ball. Beckham. Solano. Newcastle trying to get going again, and he might be the man to do it. Long Robert, who's kept it in after a rather heavy first touch. Oh, Shearer wasn't quite where he might have wanted to be. And the pace on the cross beat him. It's a reminder to Manchester United that to maintain their vigilance. Still 20 minutes left. Blanc. Veron. Giggs. Veron. Almost back to Giggs. Warren Barton. I think to the back line now. Acuna. Here's Bellamy. The problem for Newcastle, when they do get it here, they've had so many players in defensive positions, it's not as easy to spring forward as it was in the first half. Elliott has to bide his time. Robert. Easy piece of tidying up for Blanc. Brown. Newcastle must be careful not to adopt too negative a frame of mind here. Some of the St James's Park singing has stopped, but still a lot of football to be played. And the risk for Newcastle is that they are handing the initiative absolutely to Manchester United. It might seem like that already when you lost the 3-1 lead. Scholes wants it, gets it from Keane. Veron. Giggs. Almost for Veron. Scholes is almost there. Elliott scraped it away. Good work by Shearer to get there first. Taking Blanc with him. Of course, Shearer hasn't had too much match action. But the other factor to take into account is that some of these Newcastle players played 120 minutes in the League Cup, the Worthington Cup, on Wednesday night. Manchester United did have the journey to Athens and back, but they played no football there. Giggs looking for Van Nistelrooy, so close to finding him. What an important touch it was by O'Brien that time. Veron. But look again how deep Bellamy is. And he'll find a way out of this. Elliott. Oh, that's better from Acuna. But it's given away rather cheaply again by Newcastle United. Unbeaten, remember, this season in 10 games. It's a 12-match unbeaten run, taking in a couple of fixtures at the end of last season. Giggs. O'Brien gets it away, but once more not very far. Blanc. And Acuna's got to be careful. He's been booked. Veron was trying to play a give and go with Roy Keane then. Veron, to his credit, hasn't made a song and dance about it. It wasn't the most sinister foul, but it was late, and the current refereeing climate, it was risky for Acuna. Philip Neville is offside. And we're coming towards the final 15 minutes. Looking along the line there, and it's again, it's a close one. It went against Neville and Manchester United. Well, Dean Sturridge is enjoying himself against his former club, Derby County. He scored a second for Leicester, who now lead 2-1 at Pride Park. Shearer, Bellamy. Oh, mix up there between Gary Neville and Laurent Blanc, still getting to know each other. Elliott. Robert, pass Gary Neville. That could be a booking. It's a lovely change of direction. Come infield, and it left experienced international right back completely wrong-footed and lunging off balance, for which he has been booked, Gary Neville. Got to that. He was positive and perhaps wonders why one or two of his teammates weren't. Newcastle have a corner. Again, Manchester United were not defending the ball with the real confidence and diligence. It certainly lifted the spirits of the Newcastle supporters, who have been understandably flattened by these two recovering goals from Manchester United. Shearer, strong against Philip Neville. Solana. Acuna's in there, it's too high for him. Oh, Bellamy. Elliott tried to tuck it down, but suddenly Newcastle have to backpedal. There are 5 streaming forward in Manchester United red. Paul Scholes on the ball, parried by Given. Unfortunately for him, it went straight to Dabizas. Robert spreading the play. Shearer. All sorts of grabbing going on by Brown. Shearer has that side of holding out an arm. But over-embroidering it in the circumstances. Dabizas. Robert. Bellamy. Acuna trying to drift in. It was one of those, remember, at the other end in the first half when Newcastle were attacking, that they didn't get. I thought it was more of an infringement than this one. Acuna playing for this and getting it against Laurent Blanc. Well, if the Robert goal from a free kick that buzzed past Barthez right at the start of the game was down the right channel for Laurent Robert, this is certainly in Solano's slot, also Shearer's as well, but Solano seems to be assuming a bit of seniority at the moment, or a question whether it's indirect, of course, or not. The hand hasn't gone up, Solano takes it. So presumably it was direct. Bellamy. Contact there, but another free kick conceded by Manchester United. Baron kicked the ball away. Scholes was surprised to be penalised. Dabizas making his way forward. The delivery from Robert was threatening again. Been some good set pieces by Newcastle in the recent minutes to try and re-establish themselves in the contest. 3-3, remember. But they were 3-1 up. Robert! Very nearly 4-3 up. Just behind Dabizas. Robert, of course, lurking in the position that he found himself in the incident that led to Newcastle's 3rd goal. Griffin. Barton. A bit nervy there, those two for Newcastle. Keane. Scholes with a flick. Went straight to Acuna, straight into Acuna. Bellamy looking to take on Blanc. He's past him. He's past Brown. And he sets up Solano for Newcastle. Shearer. Goal! Newcastle United are back in front. Bellamy did so much of the work and looked initially to set up Alberto Solano here. Barthez got a boot to it. In went Shearer, and via Brown, in went the ball. And Manchester United have conceded 4 here at St James's Park. Newcastle have beaten Manchester United at St James's Park in the Premiership. Shearer has scored. He can make that a hat-trick if it stays this way. Here's Key. Wouldn't bet on it staying this way. They're on. Bellamy. Robert, it's a lovely pass. Bellamy again. Barton. Well, the 7th goal of the game. If you'd had to have a little wager when it was 3-3, I'm sure Manchester United would have been the favourites of the majority to get it. They haven't got it. And now they need to get an 8th in the match if they're going to get something at St James's Park, and they've got well, less than 8 minutes. Oh, and there's Blanc. Just losing the plot for a moment. Robert. Newcastle revitalised. Bellamy. And all Neville can do is run it behind for a corner. He was getting too close, far too close for comfort to Barthez. Robert's corner. Referee is kept abreast with most matters. Besides, there was an infringement in there. I don't know whether they're hearing what Bobby Robson's saying, but well, this was Bellamy, and Blanc couldn't keep him at bay, nor could Brown. But Barthez did well from Solano. And then Wes Brown got the touch to Shearer's low drive. Giggs. Ryan Giggs runs at Newcastle. Scholes! Well, Newcastle look across for a flag that wasn't raised, and Scholes put it in. It would have been level pegging again, but he didn't put it in. And he was onside. It was Andy O'Brien who played him onside. Very good decision from the officials. Into the last 5 minutes. Very few of the 52,000 heading for an early exit here. It's gripping. And the champions are on the receiving end as far as the scoreline is concerned. This is Robbie Elliott. And Brown diverts it away from Bellamy. Solano. Brown's there again. Blanc. Barthez looking for his trademark ball from that left foot to right of centre for Manchester United. Not quite right enough for Beckham, but Van Nistelrooy did well. Veron, Keane. Beckham first to it, out by Barton. 3 minutes plus added time. Philip Neville. Beckham. Brown. Scholes is there. Veron, Scholes again. Ooh, no foul. Manchester United was certain there should have been one. Robert, and keep the ball was the message. He didn't do that. Giggs. Elliott going for this one with Scholes. Fair enough. Referees have been tolerant of a good number of physical challenges. And the game hasn't suffered because of that policy. Griffin. 2 minutes plus added time. Whether it was going in directly, well, Shearer, of course, will tell you that it was. It's the goal by which this match, well, should we say no more than might be decided. But if Newcastle can keep the ball, that will decide it. Robert. Free kick to Newcastle. The taking of which will take plenty of time, and Robert, who has impressed yet again, he's fitted in so snugly. He wasn't eligible for the Intertoto games, but he's been a formidable opponent to Sir Alex Ferguson's side, and of course struck the right note early on when he struck that free kick so superbly. We're in the 90th minute with stoppage time to come. And Alberto Solano with a Newcastle free kick that flies off the Manchester United wall. If he's asking for a handball, they turn their back on it. And yes, slowly Shearer was going out to be involved in the taking of the corner. Maybe just to keep it in close order by that corner flag and take us into stoppage time. The board is about to go up and it says 3 minutes. Solano. Bellamy. It's a very emphatic point by referee Bennett for a goal kick. He saw quite clearly what had happened. Ferguson, a great student of time, added on. And his watch there for inspection. Giggs. Veron. Oh, it's behind Philip Neville, but Giggs got it back. And he's asked with the header. Shearer again using that strength and determination to hold off Wes Brown. Hoping that Bellamy was making a run. We've had one of the extra 3 minutes gone by. Veron. Giggs. Scholes this time! No! Well, so Manchester United appeals that Paul Scholes was fouled as he got to the ball. It's going to be a goal kick, not the penalty kick they were asking for. Twice Scholes has had great opportunities by his standards. Robson, I think, trying to get a change so that he can run down the clock. Acuna. Solano. And Bellamy's onside. He's round Barthez. Craig Bellamy. Another moment to encapsulate the enchanting nature of this Premiership match. Right to the final kick. And it's going to involve a debut for Sylvain Distin, who is coming on for Craig Bellamy. Sylvain Distin, who's just beginning a loan to the end of the season from Paris Saint-Germain. He was a teammate of Laurent Robert there. He's a tall central defender, and he comes on to help Newcastle defend the lead against Manchester United. Scholes won it unfairly from Acuna. They're very nearly there, Newcastle. They led 1-0. They led 2-1 and 3-1. And the peg back. And now they lead 4-3 on the day of Bobby Robson's 100th game in charge. Shearer. Again heading for the corner. To take up as much time as he's allowed. And then the ball was thrown at Shearer then by Roy Keane. Keane, who was sent off here last year in the 3-0 win. And Roy Keane gets a red card again. Manchester United going down with the wrong sort of fight. I don't know why, but Keane threw the ball at Shearer. That started it. It was a 3-0 Newcastle win in February 2000. Shearer scored 2 that day, when Keane also got his marching orders on this ground. And his disciplinary record is dreadful. And he goes off once more with head bowed, one hopes in shame. It's not in keeping with the nature of the contest. On behalf of a worldwide television audience, thank you to the players of Newcastle United and Manchester United. There are winners and losers here in terms of the Premiership points, but it was a marvellously uplifting experience over the 90 minutes. It's lifted Newcastle up the table. Barthez beaten 4 times by Robert and Lee in the first half, Davizas and Shearer's deflected shot in the second half, and Nistelrooy, and then 2 in quick succession from Giggs and Veron. That pulled it back to 3-3. The game scarred at the last by the red card for Roy Keane. But it's finished, and it's finished fantastically for Newcastle. They've beaten Manchester United by 4 goals to 3.
Bobby, if ever we came to a weekend where we needed a great football match, it was this weekend, and we got one today.
Yeah, you got a... Oh, I shouldn't say a Bobby Dazzler, but you got a dazzler for sure. 2 very good teams. I mean, on this season performance, we're quite a good side at the moment, and Manchester have been for years, and they were not anything less than that, I think, today. I mean, 3-1 down, and they came back 3-3. A great change by Alex. He brought on Scholes, and he gave us a problem in midfield, and the spare man there, 3 against our 2, and 1 was a full-back anyway. Warren Barton had to come on instead of Robert Lee. So we were a little bit at sea, but we recovered well, and they got 2 great strikes. I mean, I'm not complaining about my side conceding 2 goals. It went to 3-3 with 2 very good teams, you know, at each other's throats, because we fought tooth and nail all afternoon. We scrapped for every inch of the ground, and I think in the end, you know, when you think of the game early on to the end, we were worthy winners over 90 minutes.
What a fantastic game. I think it really has eclipsed the 5-0 here 3 or 4 years ago.
That's some statement.
Well, I really think it has for sheer entertainment and for value for money today. After the events of what's happened in the week as well, to go out and to see so many people smiling, because that's what I think football needed today was that. Unfortunately, we're the ones that come out on top, but it could have been so different.
You saw the spirit of the club, you know, and the motivation and wanting to win and belief in ourselves, and we just kept going. And they had chances, and we had chances in the last 20 minutes. It could have finished really 6-6. I mean, if the finish had been absolutely acute and really spot on, this game could have been a 6-6 draw.